Welcome to being a deck builder. You're always trying to cook.
What's up, Response on Players? We're back again with another exciting episode of the Universus podcast. As always, I am Bryan, and joining me today is
Jake. I'm excited about these characters.
Andrew, way to spoil it.
Oh yeah, that's right. I haven't done what we're talking about yet.
I mean, to be fair, they probably looked at the thumbnail and read the title, so they've already been spoiled. So,
what if we didn't put him in the thumbnail?
Interesting choice.
What if I forgot to put a title?
What if we didn't even post this on accident?
You need a title to post the video, though.
We'll figure it out.
It's just a period. It's just a dot.
It's just a bunch of question marks. What are you tuning in for this week? Who knows?
Oh, that's perfect SEO.
That's true. It's very true. But yeah, so today's main topic is going to be the reveal of the 4 characters from the 2 MHA Challenger decks. The My Hero Academia Final Battle Challenger series that these 4 characters are coming from will be in stores on June 12th. So a little bit more than a month from now. But we do currently have the 4 characters. Nothing else has been spoiled as of time of recording.
Kind of sucks because I really wanted to just see everything, but I just have to wait like a good boy.
True. We all have to wait sometimes. Learn a little patience. But without further ado, let's start talking about them, at least a little bit.
I hope so.
The first one that we'll talk about is Armored All Might. Armored All Might is a 6 hand size, 32 health character on the All, Earth, and Good symbols with the Pro Hero and Teacher keywords. He has Enhance. Your attack gets +2 damage. If it has the good symbol, it gets +1 speed and +1 damage. Enhance once per turn. Sacrifice 1 foundation. Draw 1 card, period. If you sacrificed an armor card this way, draw 2 cards instead. And finally, he has Response Commit. After you take damage, build 1 armor foundation from your discard pile.
Let's go. The good symbol getting more love. We love to see it. Bop, bop, bop.
Yes, I am very excited about the idea of seeing more good symbol cards.
Agreed.
About his worst symbol, then trying to encourage you to use the worst symbol on this card. Okay, cool.
I don't know about that, because on good, he gets to play Queen of the Monsters, so that card's pretty correct.
No one's ever played Queen of the Monsters.
Oh, I guess you get to play that on Earth, actually.
Also, and it still has the good symbol to give the effect.
True.
Also, on top of that, I feel like Queen of the Monsters really does what this card wants you to do anyway. So, you take a look at Enhance, no real requirement. You just get 2 damage, or you get 1/1.
You get both.
You get both, yeah.
Ah!
So it gets 1/3. So Queen of the Monsters can just be a 5 high 10.
Okay, kind of cringe, but yeah. So better than I initially thought for sure. You also have. And that's for, no cost, really.
True.
And then you have Enhance. Once per turn, you can sack a foundation, draw a card. If you sacked an armor card this way, draw 2 cards instead. So, you're gonna use something, and then you're gonna sack it. You have to use it. You're gonna be like, all right, cool, I used it. Now I'm gonna draw a card. Oh, it's an armor card I already used. I'm gonna draw 2 cards.
Yeah, I mean, it is a once per turn, draw 1, draw 2, which is pretty sick. And it's an ability to keep you out of deadlock, which is fine.
Yeah, but you can use it on either turn. So,
if you're ready.
If you're ready, which is fine. So you do on their turn, you go, cool, I'm going to sack this foundation that I've already used this turn to draw 2 cards. All right, cool, I'm going to partial block this attack. Cool, I'm going to response. I'm going to use the 3rd one. I'm going to build that card ready that I've already used this turn.
Very true. I do agree that that's pretty much the plan. I think our goal is to obviously see some armor cards that do like flip or commit effects,
Yeah.
so that you feel good about getting rid of them to themselves and then building them back in. In fact, I think an armor card that reduces damage, something armor
I mean,
as a thing can be
would
known to
make
do,
sense, yeah.
would be very good.
Especially on these symbols, that makes sense. The big thing is, though, if it's a flip card and you flip it, when you sack it, it doesn't count as an armor card to draw two, correct?
Correct. Because when it gets sacked,
correct.
it's not seen as an armor card. It's a face down card.
So, interesting.
It just means most of the armor cards are probably commits and not flips.
What if this is like an Iron Man situation where it's just like multiple suits of armor? Not just
that's
a random card with the armor keyword.
correct. There should be like a few different it should be the same design space as the vestiges from the previous My Hero deck, basically, where we're doing 3 or 4 foundations probably that say armor on them, and they do different things.
Yeah, I mean, also, I understand why All Might has the Pro Hero and Teacher keywords, but there's nothing using these. Like,
Not anymore. I mean, we have a little bit.
I think we had Pro
of
Hero
1A
things.
and Pro Hero.
Yeah, and like Jetburn, I think, because there was an asset they cared about. I think it was Pro Hero Breaker, I think.
Yep, Pro Hero Breaker 1. It was Pro Hero Rankings.
Yes.
Was the card, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but you also had Pro Hero Breaker on the promo card that or that you remove from your discard pile to increase or decrease the damage.
That's true.
Was that fan favorite?
That also...
No, it's not fan favorite. Fan favorite
He's talking about...
is the one with Hawks. This one has Endeavor and All Might on it.
It's the one where it's it's like the weight of number 1 or whatever.
Yeah,
what is the
symbol? Symbol?
Card was decent.
That card slapped.
I missed that card. That card was cool.
That card was cool.
So, in this case, I think you're really looking at... It's very interesting that you could go up to being a 10-hander if you're willing to lose 2 foundations.
Yeah.
You pop 2, you get 2 on your turn, get 2 on their turn. Is a lot. That's like a lot of card advantage. Obviously, you're giving up a whole foundation for that, or 2 foundations. So, like, the build is a little bit harder, but...
Yeah,
not that bad.
You just use them when after you commit them. Like, it's really not even that big of a deal. And if you think about some of these characters that we've already had that do stuff that just draw so many flipping cards, like Mikasa.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I'm gonna play this card. Cool. I'm gonna play this card. Cool. I'm gonna play this card. I'm gonna play this card.
Mihusa?
I'm just gonna keep sacking all my stuff and drawing cards.
Yeah,
like this is
Mihusa
just that. But in my opinion, slightly better because you're going to be able to build one in when you take damage, so when you partial. You're going to sack to draw 2 cards. Granted, it is once per turn. It's like they learned their lesson with Mikasa, because Mikasa is a problem. Because you just stack all your stuff, draw a bunch of cards, and then you just have a crazy build out at the end of the turn.
Yeah. I mean, also with cycling back to the idea with armor being able to just reduce damage. I mean...
Yeah, but we don't know.
Well, correct. But I can only imagine armor being some sort of damage reduction, some sort of reduction effect, where it's like flip or commit for -2 damage. You then sack it for the draw 2, and then you decide to partial, or even just eat it if it's not big enough, and you just get that minus damage back.
Yeah, but like, I'm going to step off the speculation station here for a minute there, bucko. And I'm going to look at what this card does on face with the cards we know that exist. And I mean, this card slaps.
Okay, well, I'm staying in the speculation station, so...
Nope. Like, if you look at what this card does on face, even if they don't give you any armor cards, and you just sack one, draw one, that's still not a bad turnaround, especially if you have nothing in hand. And he's not, like, this is the type of stuff I would expect them to see on, like, a 5-hander, and they put it on a 6-hander with 32 health. Like, I would expect this type of character to be, like, a 30 health 6-hander, or, like, a 5-hander with, like, 32 to 36 health. Somewhere in there, depending on how good they scaled it. And I feel like they put it right in the middle and really gave this thing, like, It's not really surprising, to be honest, because, like, look at Godzilla. Godzilla came out of a Challenger deck, and that thing is still showing up.
Yeah, King of Monsters is spooky. Rodan's still spooky.
All those, and there are so many cards in those decks that, I mean, just recently got touched. City Rampage?
Yeah.
Combined Firepower was big for a minute.
Yeah. Also,
So, like,
in the talk of Godzilla and Rodan, I mean, they're still very good. Don't get me wrong, but they also didn't convert in Chicago, so that makes me wonder.
Nah, Titan was so free.
Yeah, but
that must
that's
make
a,
them,
that's a different discussion.
that must make them bad, dude. Never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about.
You're right. But talking about a card that's actually really cool that Armored All Might want to play on at least 2 of his symbols, Electric Moth.
Yes.
Getting to discard, draw cards, do all those things.
Draw a bunch of
give
cards.
it good stats because it's got the good symbol on it.
Yeah.
Of course, we already talked about Queen of the Monsters. Like on the good symbol, there are some cool cards for him to mess with and like maybe get that extra bit of buff. Bug Bite's really funny.
Yeah, most
True.
of
As
them,
one
most
of
of
those.
them really being from the Godzilla stuff, whether it be from the decks or being from the new bit.
Yeah. No, I'm like on face, like Armor Might, freaking. He seems really good. Just face value, like what he's got, what he has, seems pretty good. Which is honestly
sure.
a good start for the Challenger decks because I definitely think the Challenger decks should have this sort of quality to them because they have been touted as a more advanced precon, like an advanced starter. Not exactly a starter, but it's basically a starter, Like it has always been sort of talked about and advertised as a more advanced starter, an advanced precon, and I definitely think just looking at All Might definitely leans more in that idea of what the Challenger decks are supposed to be.
I was gonna say, I just realized this based on his wording. It's also possible. I mean, I guess it's possible. We probably wouldn't. He cares about sacking the foundations, but it does say armor card. So there is a world where like we could see other, like an asset with armor on it, etc. That he's allowed to sacrifice, kind of like the suited up. From
Not
back
quite.
in the day.
Not quite, because the cost specifically says foundation.
Was suited up, you were allowed to pay it as the cost as part of his static.
Okay, I see where you're going with it. Yeah.
So, like, we could get something like that. I don't think we would. That's a little convoluted for no reason. But I was just like, it does say card, which means there's, like, some wiggle room there for those other things.
It's interesting wording for sure, considering the fact that the cost specifically says foundation, and then it says, yeah, if it's an armor card. I was like, okay, well, it's got to be a foundation, because that's the cost. I got to blow up a foundation.
Yeah, so
I
doubt we're playing with that space in a very specific way, but
yeah,
it is definitely an interesting idea.
Agreed.
But before we start talking about his protege, I want to talk about his rival.
Oh,
we're just switching it right up.
Yeah, let's talk about All for One Demon Lord.
let's go.
Okay, I'm only gonna say this. I'm gonna say this one time. Andrew, you're not allowed to talk about this card.
What?
All right, Brian. So let's have a conversation where we don't have to worry about
What?
Where we don't have to worry about glaze them all.
What?
Andrew in the chat.
What?
So, the one that we will be doing that for is coming up in a little bit, but I imagine you and I have a lot to say about one of the 4 of these.
I've got a lot to say about one of these for sure.
Exactly. But All for One Demon Lord, he is a 6-hand size, 34 health character with the Chaos, Evil, and Void symbols and the villain keyword. He has Enhance, Commit. You may try to play 1 card from your momentum as your next card this turn. If you play a card this way, remove it when it leaves the card pool. And response, once per turn, Tenacious. After an attack deals 5 or more damage, ready this character. You may add 1 card from your discard pile to your momentum.
This character is so freaking sick.
This character is cool. I think there's a lot of cool ideas and lines that
Character's
can be had
so
with him.
dope.
And I'm not huge on the train for him currently. Not like Andrew. Andrew's hyped about this character. Obviously, you can hear it. So why don't you hype up the Demon Lord a little bit, Andrew?
No, because I was told not to talk, so.
No one cares
Thank
what Jake
God.
says.
Oh my god. Dude.
He's not leading this one.
Finally, he listens to me.
Anyway, allow me to not listen to him and talk about and glaze this new All for One. No, like this is very, very cool. I love when I see abilities, especially on characters that manipulate other zones of play. And with the previous All for One, doing a lot of like momentum shenanigans. I really liked that. I have stated multiple times on the podcast that I liked what the first All for One did, and this one has a bit of that flavor. You know, you're still manipulating the momentum, but you can do so many things with the momentum here. You can play from the momentum. You can play an attack. You can play a card as an attack, or you can play a card as a block. Granted, when it leaves the card pool, it gets removed, so you can't really cheat in foundations. You can't use the response to throw in a foundation, and then, I mean, you can, you just won't build it, because once it leaves, it gets removed, so there's no value there. So you're only choosing attacks or actions. Don't really know if he'll have any actions in the deck. You know, that's yet to be seen. But
probably, but only because every other one of these decks has had an action and an asset.
well, so we know for sure that the deck will have an asset because it got the altar got spoiled on the article or in the article.
Mhm.
So we know for a fact that it'll have an asset. Which you can go check out that article if you want to see what the asset does. You can see what the asset does from the screenshot, from the picture that they give you. But yeah, you can just set up your strings. You can stow away your cool attacks after an attack hits, so you can eat an attack that's at least 5 damage. You get to ready your character, and then you can just stack your momentum with whatever you want for later in the turn, or you can just go ahead and stack a block that you need for later in the turn if you are certain of where your rival string is going to go. One thing because I've been testing with this character a little bit already. Monster vs. Machine is very sick for this character because you can play it on offense, hit with it, it goes to momentum. You can then offer one to say, hey, I could play a card for my momentum. I'm going to block with this Monster vs. Machine in my momentum. I'm now going to breaker to you. A Lamau, this is pretty sick. Or you can hit with something else, respond all for one to put a Monster vs. Machine from your discard pile into your momentum. So you don't even need to sling it. If it's in your drop, it's going in momentum anyway. One favorite thing that I've been testing with that I really like doing on Chaos, Black Abyss. You got Black Abysses in your drop? All for one just says, yeah, man, go stack those 1/1s in your momentum for free, effectively. And, you know, for the cost of blood, go stack some stats. I really liked doing that because that feels sick. Another attack that feels sick in this character, and another favorite of mine, Rando Spirit Gun. Mm-hmm. That attack is sick in this character. I love it. It basically turns the enhance. You can use the enhance instead of 2 times, 3 times a turn. So you can like get some crazy strings. Not to mention that the symbols on this character really, like, these are just good symbols for this game plan that he wants to do. Like, there's just so many options, so much you can do with these words. And from the little bit of practice, like I've done with this, like testing with this character is sick.
Yeah. From playing against it with you, I agree that I think this character has a lot of really cool things.
Yeah, you got to do a lot of thinking with this character, which I may be dumb, but I love my thinker characters.
But I love to think.
Even though I'm bad at it, I really like to play characters that get me thinking. Elder Dagoro is a good example. I like playing Elder Dagoro, and that character makes my brain hurt, but it's great.
Word.
And All for One just kind of scratches that same itch of just trying to figure out how I want to manipulate my momentum, how to play my attack strings, stuff like that. Like, this character is very cool to me.
Jake, do you have any opinions on All for One Demon Lord?
I have a few of them, actually.
Are you going to share them?
I guess since you asked. Overall, I think what he's got going is pretty cool. I also, like Andrew, like the idea of he gets to play things in an unconventional manner, which means, if you don't have ways to temper his momentum gain, you can just end up in a spot where he can kind of just hit you with something goofy for no reason. Like, I think Andrew is kind of right when Black Abyss, putting 4 Black Abysses in your momentum for free, like not having to actually play them, or having like, there are other cards that are going to help them go to your momentum if you want them. Setting up 4 Black Abyss pretty easy is a little gross. Like, even just like 2 or 3, like being just the stat game becomes insane.
For sure. For sure.
But we'll see how hard it is when we get to it, when it comes to stuff like that. Yes, you can take damage if they take damage on your turn, you can ready and then do it again. Or if they take damage, or if you take damage on their turn, yes, you can ready, do it again. So I think it's interesting. It is gated once per turn, so it's not going to get out of control. We have characters like, I'm sorry, the one that every time you spend a momentum, you put it back.
Oh, Mitchell Chimino.
Yes, you have characters like Mitchell Chimino. Yes, you have characters like Mitchell Chimino that, like, oh, I spent my momentum, I'm gonna do it again. Oh, I did a momentum, I'm gonna do it again. And like, I feel like this kind of falls a little bit more fair than that. I feel like this still has interesting lines and fun play paths, but there are some really, really degenerate cards, I think, currently. And while I don't think Mitchell Chimino is as bad as it was, it is still really annoying, and it can be a lot to slog through.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Also, with the once per turn, like I said, yeah, it's a bit more, I guess, fair to, I guess, use a word. But as I mentioned before, Rando Spirit Gun just says, yeah, just go ahead and do it again.
Do it twice.
But,
do it twice this time, and you do it once on theirs.
Yeah, exactly. But, so, like, yes, it's gated on once per turn, but if you play this one specific attack, which I think he plays pretty well, then it's actually a twice per turn.
No, I agree. I also think...
Fine.
Sorry. Yeah, I also think there is... He does a thing that I like about our game. He has a unique ability.
Yes.
Nobody else is doing this kind of thing. Not the way he's doing it, at least. We had, Mr. Compress did something similar, I think.
He had a form, lose a health, reveal momentum, and then you, if you haven't played a copy of that card this turn, you could play it as your next form.
Yeah, like, he could play them, but he didn't get rid of them. He couldn't play them, obviously, to block with, which is a thing that he's able to do here. He also wasn't stealing his momentum to do that. You were kind of doing it by proxy, you were trying to, but he didn't get to do it just on his face.
He did. Whenever he blocked with a card, he could set it in momentum. But he could only do it once because he had to commit himself. Compress was also a very cool character.
But yeah, I think there's definitely a world where All for One has some cool legs, definitely has some really cool lines as we get more cards on the Chaos symbol, who loves momentum. And also just like on the Evil and Void symbols, there's a lot of cool effects that go on Evil, and a lot of cool effects that come out on Void.
Yeah.
I mean, you could... I'm sorry. What's up?
Oh, I was just going to glaze the symbols. It's like, these 3 symbols are really cool.
Okay, stop.
No.
Now.
Nah.
Listen. These symbols kind of like... These symbols always eat. These symbols never go hungry.
Especially Chaos.
UVS is always putting cool stuff on these symbols.
Evil is an exception because Evil it was in the same spot as Good, where it didn't really get a whole lot until recently. But Chaos Chaos has been eating real good.
All I'm saying is this is on symbols that are good, so you're gonna have cards to play. There are cards that do cool stuff with momentum. You could put like some of the Titan cards that do like crazy stuff, so that you can
Mm-hmm,
always see them to play them.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of modes, I think, and I feel like this character might see some amount of play. Um, it just depends. Like we'll see what other people cook up, but I think this thing could see some competitive play. I think it doesn't it doesn't do quite what Mitchell Chimino does.
Sure.
And so it seems less broken in that aspect just because of the amount of momentum that Mitchell Chimino generates. But also, its symbols are different than Mitch. So I think I don't know. We'll see. I that's my first thought is I want to compare this card to Mitchell Chimino's just because, like, in my mind, if you want to play momentum deck something, you're probably playing Mitch. It's got a
Fair.
lot. It's got a lot of stuff you can do with it, but I don't know. I'm interested to see. I think just off words alone, not seeing anything else in this deck, not seeing whatever. I think this is a character that might see some competitive viability.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But it also,
Uh,
well, yeah, just like you said, had to see what people cook. Because I definitely don't think this character plays himself.
yeah, for sure. I do think you have to think about what you're doing there a little bit more than something like Armored All Might is a little bit more of a simple game plan of what you want to do comparably.
Agreed.
But let's talk about the proteges. Which protege to start with?
All right, listen here. So we're gonna be talking about Izuku Midoriya Deku. He's a 6-hand size, 30 health character who says your deck may include Vestige Foundations regardless of symbol restrictions. Enhance, Tenacious. This attack gets +2 or -2 speed. If you have 6 or more Vestige Foundations, it gets +3 or -3 speed instead. Response, Commit. After you block with a Foundation card, build it. Draw 1 card. It has the Air, All, Good, and Life symbols.
And the 1A keyword.
Yeah, with the 1A keyword, yeah.
Yes, with the 1A keyword.
So I actually think this Midoriya, the Deku, the one that actually says Deku, is really good.
I
Agreed.
like this Deku on. So like, here's the thing: you have to compare it to the last starter deck Deku we got, right? One that has seen correct, which has seen competitive play. So like, you gotta think about it this way, right? So that one has seen competitive play. What does that one do compared to this one? And are there any gaps? Are they different? Like,
For starters, this one doesn't transform, so you don't have to really worry
True.
about managing your resources to try to do anything like that. The front side of Deku 6 did have speed manipulation. I think it was +3, -3. But you had to commit a foundation.
Yes, it was committed foundation +3 or -.
Yes. This Deku just says, yeah, man, just go ahead and do it for free. Just stat manipulation for free. Is pretty crazy. Like we're at the state of the game where 2 speed I feel like is just average. If it's repeatable and free, it's pretty good. If it's like a once per turn, it's not that strong. But so Deku just at the very least just says, yeah, man, all your attacks are 2 speed slower. All my attacks 2 speed faster. Or if I have the requirement, it just says all your attacks are 3 slower. Mine are 3 faster. So you're gonna have to just respect that and deal with it.
For sure.
Yeah. So I like this card. I do like that you don't have to commit your stuff to do things. Granted, as we've seen a lot of the older Deku decks, they just the last Deku mainly want to get to a point in the match, and then they go, cool, I'm going to turn all my stuff sideways, I'm going to hit you for a gajillion, and I'm going to flash it, or whatever.
Correct. That one definitely
Yeah,
wanted to do that as its thing.
that was the strategy, and then Phantom Threat left. I know David Toombs, shoutouts, took Deku 6 to Chicago. I think he did pretty decent with it, but I didn't see the list, so I wasn't sure exactly what his strategy was since rotation hit, because I do think losing Phantom Threat made Deku on the move less lethal, or less, I guess, not as much in PE.
Mhm.
Sure. I do think that's probably the case. And, we're not really trying to sit and debate last Deku. I do think that one has a lot more play paths. I feel like you really can play a catch-all with Deku 6, and I feel like if you build it certain ways, if you put the experience into that character and kind of like find your build in the way you want to play it, there are multiple avenues you can play that. So I feel like it is a character that could very well, if you can read the meta well enough, build to fight the meta. The problem is it also has a lot of play paths and can be built so many different ways.
And it's pretty sick.
It's kind of like it goes both ways, right? Like,
It's just a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot of brain stuff, and if you put the time in and you build it one way, it could be built incorrectly for what you're gonna face. And like, I feel like that's cool, but it's complicated. So like, it's a positive and a negative. Whereas like this, there's nothing hidden in this card.
No, he's just kind of upfront of like what he does.
Yeah, your stuff's slow, my stuff's faster. I'm gonna plus or minus the speed however I want. You get to free build your vestige cards, and you can play whatever vestige card you want in the deck, which is cool. I like that they're doing that. So like that'll add some layers and like, what vestige cards am I playing? What's the most valuable for what I'm doing with this deck? That's what I think is cool, because you're going to block with a card. It also gives you that hand advantage. So I'm going to block with a vestige card. I'm going to build this vestige card.
Yeah.
I'm going to draw a card. Like, that's just good.
Yeah, it just replaces itself. You just block with the foundation or vestige card, as you're saying, and you get to draw and replace it. So you don't really lose hand advantage while progressing your board state.
Exactly. So I think having that mixed with the we've seen it 1,000 times. It doesn't matter how strong your attack is, if it can't do the damage because it's so slow, it doesn't matter.
For sure.
And his words being tenacious, going, cool, you have to seal my character for you to stop me from blocking your stuff.
Yeah, it is very hard to get through this Deku. Bryan was trying this Deku out, and I was trying out All for One. And yeah, it was really hard to get any attacks through because he just said, yeah, they're all slow. I had a couple turns where no joke, slung 5 to 7 attacks at him, and I think only 1 or 2 hit.
Yeah, it'd just be like, I'm not going to block this one. And usually it was because I didn't actually have the right block zone in hand. I would just get unintentionally zone checked, either because I didn't see them, or just because he ended up going hard into one zone. Was pretty much the only reason I wouldn't block an attack in those kinds of situations. Also, like we were talking about before, he shares symbols with the new Mothra, who has a lot of defensive tricks available to her in deck building.
Sure.
Divine Defender
Bug Bite
is very good. Bug Bite.
We don't have to talk about it. Queen of the Monsters. I mean,
Queen of the Monsters.
This card loves Queen of the Monsters. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna build in a vestige card real quick.
True.
Mm-hmm. I did that a lot. It was super fun.
Yeah.
I definitely started turns where I went, okay, I need to get a 6th vestige down onto the field. So I'm going to build this foundation, then play Queen of the Monsters. Hope I don't check terribly. Build it, and then I'm off to the races because now I'm given 3s.
Exactly. So, I mean, and so as somebody there's a character that's kind of similar to this that I have also been playing, Jin.
Sure.
Or not Jin, sorry. Kai. I was thinking
Sure.
Jin because
As well.
of the 2 speed,
Yeah.
but the Kai.
The 2 that becomes 3. Yeah.
Correct. The 2 that becomes 3. That character, very similar. I actually haven't been playing a lot of that character, which I still think that character low-key kind of good, but
That character's
whatever.
cool.
I think Kai's got legs.
But
That too.
Kai, very good. There are times that, even against decks I think are really good, like I've won Mikasa matchups with it. I had a really fun time playing it into Mitch playing Mitch. But that character, it's +or-1 or +or-3, and they have to have 3. They have to have 6 committed foundations for you to get +or-3. And that's a big point on that character. Granted, he also has a way that says, hey, if I hit you, I get to just tap your stuff and I get to pick, which is a big deal.
Especially if you run aerial Kikosho, because then you smack them on their turn, you go, cool, I hit you. Go ahead and commit a resource. Continue with your turn.
Yeah.
Exactly. But, like, that's what I mean. It's like, so that character, for free, does +or-1 speed. Or, if you meet this sometimes difficult to get to, depending on board state, status of having 6 committed foundations, then I get +or-3. This Deku says, I get +or-2, period. So it's already twice as good as Kai on that front.
Yeah,
and then he gets the same modifier if an easier to control after. You just have to have 6 or more vestiges.
That's true.
Especially
and it doesn't say unique, thank God.
Yeah. And also with the tools at his disposal on these symbols, we already talked about it, Queen of the Monsters. It also gets Desperate Plea to also build vestiges that you blocked with. So like on these symbols, he's got tools to just ramp up.
So it's easier to control what you're building than committing your opponent down. Because there are some times where, like, my opponent would go to 5 foundations and then kill me. So, like, 3 speed was never even on the table.
Yeah. For sure.
But, unless you're blowing my foundations up, I just have to have 6 vestiges. And I get to build one when I block and draw a card.
Yeah, for sure. I do think this character is really cool. I had a lot of fun with it. It is definitely
very defensive.
On my short list. A very good defensive character. I think any character that doesn't also manipulate their speed stat very well, you get to block pretty much whenever you want.
Yeah.
And then if they basically have to hope that they manipulate their damage to a point where they can just get things through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When things get through, those are worth a lot.
I am curious of how this Deku will handle matchups into decks like Reiner 1 or Shin Godzilla, who just get to say, yeah, man, I'm just going to control your stage, so you're just never going to get the +/-3.
Yeah, but even into, like, Reiner...
Reiner 1 much more. But I figured, like, the new Reiner gets to flip your vestiges to stop you from the 3. Too. But, I mean, honestly, I think plus and -2 is very good.
Especially, because it's repeatable and tenacious. It's so, like I was saying earlier, like, if you can do that repeatedly, then, it's pretty good. If it was just, like, a once per turn thing, it's like, okay, well, that's not as strong. It's not as good. But, yeah, I agree. Like, the fact that he just baseline +2, -2, it's pretty good.
Yeah, but also, if you think about it this way, it's like, even if they are flipping or, like, they have to be flipping or blowing up your stuff at such a rate where not only are they have to get attacks through that you're going to minus speed and you're going to block and you're going to build one per turn. So they have to be able to flip one being built on their turn or destroy one on their turn and then also control all the ones you're going to build on your turn. And if they're blowing your stuff up, you don't have to worry about hitting deadlocks. You can build out whatever. You're going to get the draw from this. You're on all. So I would even look at playing that one Turtles Foundation that when you block, draw a card.
Defend the innocent.
Yeah. So like I would look at playing that. So like even just this and that card, like this character and that card, you're gonna recycle one for blocking. And actually, if you commit him and that card for blocking one attack, you get 2 cards.
Yep.
You committed your character, which doesn't matter because you don't care if your character's tapped. And then you also commit 1 foundation, and you now have 2 cards in your hand. 1, that helps you sculpt and find the attacks, so you can either 1, discard down to hand side, like discard down to during review to draw more cards, or you're going to draw into these attacks, and you're going to be able to then go on the offensive in a more consistent rate.
Yeah, for sure. He also, I was going to say, I spent many turns basically blocking, giving that block breakering, building down, drawing, and then showing like aerial Kikosho or some other trick or something.
Aerial Kikosho, this character is very funny.
Aerial Kikosho was very funny. Every time I saw it, I was like, I'm going to do that. That's going to be really funny.
He's like, yeah,
he
here's
also
a
has
10i7 catch.
Yeah, like, it just comes out on his turn very easy. Also, he has access to 8 Omni blocks.
Correct.
On basically the air and all symbol.
Yep. And no matter what symbol you're playing, you can play any vestige card because this says regardless of symbol restrictions.
Correct.
Yeah, good also gives him Protector of Life, so there's 4 more Omni blocks.
Correct.
That's true. Yeah, if you want to run the action as well. I didn't want to run the action specifically because I couldn't build it down later, but absolutely is very good as well.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm interested to get in and like deck build with this character more. I definitely want to see what the alt art looks like. So like the last alt art, which is also in my Deku collection that I have.
Of course it is.
True.
I don't mind it, but it's very stiff. I'm hoping that we get a more expressive or cool alt art.
True.
That's what I live for these, whether they're good or bad or whatever. I really want to see a cool alt art. So I'm excited. This might end up being a character I pick up. I know that I've kind of been looking at some of the Godzilla stuff and seen the meta, and I have my eye on a character that I've kind of deck built a little bit and been looking at playing, but also I like Deku. I like Deku a lot, so
You're a big simp.
I am a big simp.
You are indeed a Deku dude.
For my boy Deku, he's my dude.
Yeah,
so,
just like
I really want a cool Deku alt art. That'd be sick. I know we'll get one, but hopefully it's super awesome and I want it.
But enough about Deku.
No, hold on. I've got one more thing to say about Deku.
No. Tomura Shigaraki is our last character. All for One's successor. Tomura Shigaraki is a 6-hand size, 33 health character on the death, evil, and void symbols, and has the villain keyword. He has Enhance, remove up to 2 cards from your hand, : you may try to play 1 card removed this way as your next card this turn. Your attack gets +1 speed. If this attack deals damage, draw 1 card for each card removed this way. And response, after you partially block an attack, your block gains Breaker 1. I think this character is also really cool. I think I'm more in on Deku of the 4 characters, but the cost being removed up to 2 is just... It just says it's a free +1 speed.
Yep.
It also says this attack, so you can remove 2 cards on your opponent's attack, let you get hit, draw 2 new cards.
Yeah. You just remove the 2 cards that are not, like, they just aren't good block zones or, what have you. Remove them, eat the attack, and just go, sick, I'll just draw 2 new cards. Or you can remove 1, remove both, whatever. Still partial block. Say gets Breaker 1, the attack dealt damage, draw your cards.
You also get to do it with one of those cards removed because it says play 1 card, remove this way.
Correct.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. I think that's really, really interesting. I think that's really cool. Also, you can remove. So, what's really funny about this is that I don't know if people think about, but you could remove an action and then play that action as your enhance.
Yep. As long as
Oh,
it's
it's
a
true.
card you can play.
Yeah, because it's a card. If
Uh,
it's a card you can play, and you can play the enhance an enhance on an action, you can remove that action from your hand for his effects, and then you can go cool as my next card to play during this turn, during this attack.
I'll finish up.
Uh, I'm
I'll play
gonna
it.
I'm gonna I'm gonna enhance, do whatever, and then you can then partial block if you want, or like use the other card. Well, you can't use the other card if you use this because you only get to play
Correct.
one. But you can
But
remove. What's that?
sorry, I was gonna say, but buying on your thing, if that action guarantees the hit, it did see you remove 2 cards. The action getting played early doesn't matter, and then you get to draw the 2 and stay off to the races.
Yeah, exactly. Also, reading this and looking at his symbol on death, he can easily turn on Koenma's task, which is
Very true.
pretty interesting.
It's another Death Kawinma gamer.
I am kind of sad that he can't play referee jury, but
I was also thinking
That
about
would be
every
messed
jury.
That would be so messed up.
I'm just gonna remove this jury, and I'm just gonna say, "Yeah, man, pump your damage." Oh, I'll play this jury from out of the game. If it's 4 damage, Lamau, I'll draw 2 cards. Hey,
yeah, I'll partial and break your one.
And draw
Also,
2.
I draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
Have fun.
that would
Yeah,
be
I
so
think-
funny.
I think this character. So before we started talking about it right now, and I was like actually consciously reading this character, because like I've read. Obviously, this is not my first time reading these characters. I've read these in passing, and I will say, out of all of them, I kind of thought he was the most lackluster. But actually, I'm seeing a bunch of like really fun play paths as I sit here and like really think about
Absolutely.
it
Mhm.
and get in my like card player brain. I honestly, out of all of these, I think maybe All Might is like it'd be All Might or Deku are like the most plain path way to go, and I would say probably All Might is the most I don't want to say lackluster because I think all 4 of
He's
these
just-
characters look like they can be played, which is great for a
Yes,
for a
which is
hero
absolutely
product.
for the kind of product this is. I think it's a big deal that you feel good choosing any of them.
This Shig being able to do what changes the game for me is action cards.
Actions,
now
assets, all sorts of nonsense.
Yeah, this would be really good because like you could play an asset, remove an asset from your hand to draw a card that you're gonna play as your next card this turn. Give the attack you're on +1 speed,
Mhm.
and then if it deals damage, you get to draw a card, and then go cool. That thing I removed, that asset I removed. Now I'm gonna play it. It just like it's a fun way to draw cards. And we just got a bunch of cards that do stuff when they're removed.
Yep.
Yeah.
We also get to. I think it's also fun for the mind game effect of like what you were talking about earlier, where it's just like, hey, I'm gonna play the action, which will like let me do the block or whatever. One of the cool things you can do here is you can remove the up to 2 cards and show 2 like equally good options. Knowing that one of those options is not going to be used by you, and so you're like, yeah, I'm getting rid of it, and then like still show them and make them think about those things and be stuck going, okay, do I think this is what is going to happen to me?
Yeah, because think about it this way: is on evil, you have a foundation that is attuned to evil. If you have removed a card to pay a cost this enhanced step, your attack gets +1 speed.
Mm-hmm.
So for removing a card that you're probably going to use or do something with, you gave it +2 speed because you have this enhanced. Or if you have multiple, you can. This is a 2-diff foundation. This is just that you would play this.
Yeah. There's also all 3 of these symbols. Shig can play Trigrav, and he easily turns on the +2 damage from Trigrav.
Yeah, and you
It's
also have Golden Destruction, which is an Echo range 5 diff. If you have 8 or more cards in your remove pile, this attack is +2 speed.
Yep. You can get that off very quickly.
Response, after you remove 1 or more cards from your hand, draw a card.
And you'll remove 1 or more after you play it.
Correct.
Yeah, this Shig is pretty dope, actually. Like,
So like, yeah, getting this if this is playing later on as an Echo card that's now going to get 3 speed from your Shig turn, maybe more if you have Need for Destruction on the board. So you're saying this thing's getting 3 speed, so it's a 7 mid 5. That also, okay, cool. To give it the speed, and if it deals damage, I'm gonna remove a card, and if this deals damage, I'm gonna draw a card. Oh, also because I removed a card, I'm gonna draw a card.
yep.
You also can he can play King Ghidorah Unleashed.
Yep.
When he removes it, have it as the other option and play the one and then play it.
Oh, that's so
removed
cool,
as well.
actually.
Because it has a separate response window where you can just go, I'll play that eventually. Not right now.
That's so cool.
Yep.
On Evil, he has Godzilla vs. Gigan, where he removes that foundation to get a power token. You have the numbers advantage from Gigan with the plus damage for each card in your remove pile, maximum of 5. Like, there's a lot of really cool effects and options for him.
Yeah, because you also have, like, if you're playing on Void, you can play Mecha Bombardment. If you have more cards removed pile than your rival, this attack gains stun 2. Response after this attack resolves, remove it. So, like, you can play that into a really, I want to remove a bunch of stuff. Yeah, Godzilla versus Gigan.
He gets access to Galactic Monster if he wants to
Numbers
build those.
advantage.
Mm-hmm. That was the one I was talking about earlier. That's really cool.
Yeah.
He still has, of course, all the fun things, incubating. You have all those cool effects. There's a lot of really cool stuff on Evil. Not even counting whatever is probably going to be in his deck.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like there's so many toys he gets to play with on these symbols outside of his deck. Like,
yeah, because he could even go Shadow Sorcery if he wanted to.
Sure.
So
yeah, like honestly, I was already kind of interested in this Shig, but here, us sitting down, like talking about it, really thinking about it, I'm a lot more in on Shig.
Yeah, I know that when I saw all 4, Shig was the first one to like activate my neurons. I was like, wait, there's a lot of cool stuff with this remove up to 2 effect. Like this enhance has a lot going on. But then as I like kept looking at everybody else, I eventually was like, actually, I think I'd rather probably play Deku. But man, does this do a lot?
Yeah,
because you can. Yeah, oh my god, dude! There's so many good cards you can play. You can play Overwhelming Gravity Beam, Galactic Monster. You get Supersonic Flight. So I removed it for cost to do a thing. I'm gonna draw a card because I removed it for cost. Multiple bites. If you removed a card this turn, draw a card. So I'm gonna play multiple bites.
if you have access to a few breaker cards as well, you can block with them, like partial block. Give it breaker 1 on top of the breaker it already has, so you can just ruin your rival's checks more.
Yeah, the mid breaker 2s of the world, the mid breaker 3s of the world, that some of those are. I don't know that he has any on his symbols currently. Are just, those are rough. Those are really rough to deal with.
Yeah, like I might actually have to cook with this Shig because I'm a lot more in.
I'm planning on cooking with this Shig at some point as well. This is the other character. I think the 2 successors are way more interesting to me than the leaders. But definitely, I think they all have their options for sauce.
Yeah, I think there's all kinds of things you can do. Like, just looking at cards that do stuff when they're removed. Like, you can play Resounding Screech from Girl Power. Responsible to, after this card is removed, your attack gets +1 speed. You can play 8 copies of that card in your deck. So you just go, cool, I'm going to remove this, give it a speed. And then also, Shig gives it a speed. And then I have 1 Need for Destruction. I removed a card this turn to pay a cost, this enhanced step. I'm going to give it a speed. That's 3 speed from removing 1 card that could potentially draw you another card. You also get Hammer Hand Pummel if you feel like you're not being able to get enough damage. Fury, powerful 3 punch weapon. Blitz, if you've removed a card this turn, add 1 power token to your stage.
I mean, you also get access to things like on Evil, you have Cute Baby number 202 to turn your Breaker 1 into a Breaker 2.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Like you respond, give it breaker, respond, increase the breaker, respond, breaker.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple really funny things. Like I said, Shig, I was ready to go into this conversation and be like, Shig, pass. But also, no, dude, you have so many play paths. Like, this is not the type of character I would usually think of trying to build around,
Mm-hmm.
just because it's not really my style. But, like, the things that you can do are so interesting. I cannot wait to see what somebody cooks up with this character as, like, this, I'm going to remove a card, I'm going to do a thing, I'm going to draw a card, I'm going to do a thing, I'm going to get... Because, like, I looked at it and I went, okay, you can remove a card or two to draw a card or two so they replace themselves and you get 1 speed. Neat. But, like,
Yeah.
there's so much stuff you can do here. You have on his symbols, you have access to Monsters of the Deep.
Mm-hmm.
So to gain 2 health, or for some reason add a destroy counter to your character.
If you want to, just feeling cheeky.
Yeah, you get access to like that, and that's the thing that we pointed out earlier as well, like mentioned earlier, is that just outside of his deck, he already has so many toys that he can really utilize, and actually has me more excited for what's in the deck.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, shit, dude, you can play Total Destruction, response remove after you block with this card, ruin 1. I'm going to remove it. Okay, your high block, I'm going to go, cool, for my next card, I'm going to block with Total Destruction, response, give it breaker 1, ruin 1. Have fun. That's
funny.
really cool. And it's relevant because it also has destroy all backups, assets, and foundations in play. Add 2 power during your stage, and your combat phase ends. That's really, really interesting because you can you have a board reset that you also want to play as a block that you can do to partial stop their turn. This card is a good 2 of. Because now it's relevant in certain matchups if you need it, but also just as a pure block pressure card, you can mess them up early if you block with this card.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
There's a lot of cool stuff.
I do have a
also,
question.
he doesn't
for you,
lose those
Andrew.
cards; he plays them afterwards because they don't say to remove them like they do for All for One. So there's a lot of cool I'll remove it, I'll block with it, it'll go back to my discard pile. I'll use it again there from some other effect because I'm on Evil or Void.
True.
Yeah, because if you were on Evil or Void, some of the other cards that if you're on Void, you get to play Incubating. So anything that when it gets removed for a cost can trigger there too.
Yeah, Death from Above is really funny off of Void, where you remove an attack from the discard pile to get X damage, where X equals, and then of course enhance if you have 8 or more cards in your remove pile, draw 2. It's a 6 diff. But it wears damage really well and has a pretty decent starting speed number to try and get that going through.
Yeah, this is a really good one. You can play Hover Dash, change the zone of this attack. If you have played a Roman cancel ability, your attack gets 2. So you can just go, okay, cool. I'm gonna change the zone as my next enhance.
Yeah, for sure. And you replay it there. There's a lot of cool effects to be had.
Big fan.
Andrew, I do have a question for you.
What's up?
So this Power of the Monsters.
Okay.
Can you remove Power of the Monsters with your effect and then use it as a response?
I don't see why not.
So it says it has to be the next card. You may try to play 1 card removed this way as your next card this turn. Does that stop us from playing a response? Because Power of the Monsters is breaker 1, response, sacrifice 1 foundation. After your rival plays the same ability on the same card for a second time or greater this turn, seal 1 card in their stage, add 1 power token to your stage. And it's an action.
See it.
Because contractions only trigger from your hand like that.
I don't actually know. I think it's so the condition would be met, so you would still be able to just play Power of the Monsters. So I don't.
And you're allowed to play. You may try to play 1 card removed this way as the next card of the turn. So it would follow the other rule that you've been stipulated on. So I would assume yes.
Yeah, I would.
But,
I don't know
Yeah,
if
'cause,
that would
like-
get in the way of that.
Yeah, because this would be like a really cool like 2 of card or whatever for Shig. Because if this works that way, you could remove it as part of your thing, knowing they're gonna have to push a button to threaten, hey, don't push that button or I'm gonna stop you. And
Okay,
then
seal your
if they don't
characters,
press
so
that
whatever.
button, you go, cool, I'm gonna play this as a block that has breaker 1. I'm gonna partial you, breaker 1, give you breaker 2 to stop your turn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
there's some fun toys you can play with.
Yeah, he has a lot of really cool effects.
Shoot, you could drive parry?
I love Drive Parry.
This man's going in deep in the tank.
Like, I just mean like, okay, cool. You're playing enhance on a foundation. I'm gonna remove it, and while we're sitting here doing the back and forth response, drive fury, no.
Yeah, Drive Parry, no. Ready a foundation.
Yeah.
If you're on Evil or Void, you can then, or actually, I guess on any of his symbols, because he shares Ghidorah 1 symbols, he can use Battle for Dominance to then eat it and get rid of it and draw a new card.
Yep.
Like, he gets a lot of cool effects. He has some really cool defense words and some really cool attack
Yeah, you can play
words.
equipment heist.
I mean, he could, but it's like banned or something. But yeah, we've talked about the 4 of them. Let us know down below which ones you're excited about, which ones you think have really cool effects. Talk about any combinations maybe we missed, because I know we haven't exhausted them all.
I don't know. I feel like we did when it came to Shig. I feel like Jake was literally he just pulled out a list.
Oh my god, dude! You can play Genkai's Guidance. As long as you don't play another card, you can just go, cool, I'm going to remove these 2 cards. Sick, I'm going to draw cards after you hit. Now I can just, if you're going to kill me, cool.
If you
as
play
my
another
next,
attack, I'll play
yeah,
it.
as my next card, Genkai's Guidance.
That's kind of funny.
That's true. That is a thing you're allowed
That
to
is
do.
funny as bro. That's so good!
Yeah, like I said, I thought Shigaraki was cool.
Agreed. I mean, I was with you. I also thought he was cool, but we're sitting here talking about it, I was like, no, this guy is really cool.
Yeah, I think he gets a lot of manipulation. He does a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, dude, you can play Strange Energies for some reason as a low if you're missing low blocks. After your rival plays a Blitz ability or a non-character enhance ability, your rival checks against a 7. If they fail, cancel that ability.
It's true.
Dude, there's some funny stuff here, man.
I think that's about all the time we have for today.
No. I'm not done.
Well,
We can keep cooking.
We're done. We're
We
done.
can keep cooking. Let me cook.
Hook off
could-
the podcast, bro.
No.
You could cook later. And you can continue cooking when
Welcome
we're
to
done here.
being a deck builder. You're always trying to cook.
As always, thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, rate the podcast on Spotify. If you're listening over there, we appreciate all those listens and all the engagement we get on that end. And, of course, on YouTube. I have been Bryan. We are here.
I'm Jake. I might just be all for one successor.
And I'm Andrew. Go next.